morning, Samba, Bloomston Hill, just feeding calves. And now I'm going to go and feed, can you hear them? Yeah, them. They're a new addition. Ready for lamb explosion. Get this off. It's like a little, there we go. I can get out. Oh, can't you get out? There we go. And now they're going to be attack lambs. And there's Russell. He likes to come in and play with them. They're really hungry. So, yeah, we ended up with some lambs that had lost their mums, and yeah, they're cute, but super annoying. Who else is going to have a feed? Oh, crikey. So to introduce you to this mob, we first got Patch. This is Patch. See the patch on his eye? That's Patch. And then we got, who came next? Oh, this one, Polly. She's still hungry. And then we ended up with Pongo. Hello. And then finally, my husband brought this little thing home. This is Pacha. Pacha. There we are. That's them. So they got to be fed like 3 times a day at the moment. And then once they're a bit bigger, we can reduce that to 2 times a day. And then finally they'll just get 1 feed. But they're pretty cute, but they're just annoying because it's something else to feed. Okay guys, you can go back now. Okay, fed animals, done all of that. Got a chicken casserole cooking on the stove. Being very organised today. So I've got to do a large bouquet for the La Trobe Orchestra. Someone passed away that used to be a musical director. So I'm taking that to them today. So I've got an order came yesterday from the wholesalers, Melbourne and suburbs wholesale flowers, that's what they're called. So what I've got that came this week, I've got some nice wax flower and some chrysanthemums and this really pretty peach chrysanthemum. Lovely status, it's a really pretty mauve, and then a white chrysanthemum. I ordered a little bit more today because I've also got a luxury bouquet that got ordered for tomorrow for a birthday. So plus I'll need some more stuff to go to the bakery. So a little, just a tiny bit extra, not much, but that's that bit. And I got these really beautiful carnations. They're a bit sort of common garden, you know, a bit boring, but they're so fluffy and lovely. I ordered lisianthus for the first time, and they're so pretty. They've sent me the prettiest colour. Some yellow roses, some pink roses, and then these snapdragons, which have got their sort of cream with yellow little centres. So I didn't pick the colours. When I ring up, I just say, you guys choose the colours, and the people packing it choose for me, unless there's something specific, but there's generally not. And they always do a lovely blend. They actually prefer it when people say, yeah, you pick the colours, because it makes it quicker for them when they're packing, and they don't have to sort of run all over the place. And they do a beautiful blend. So I always love what they do, and they send me something different each week. It's always a surprise to see what I got. So I'm going to work with that, but there should be some extra stuff out in the garden. So let's go have a look. Now, the other thing that's happened is my tuber sale has gone live. So here's just some of my tubers stored in my carport. They're all divided. Yay! And there's lots and lots and lots available. So the website's live and lots of varieties available. Let's pick some foliage, as well as anything I can find down here. Yeah, oh, there's some hellebores. There are some hellebores. They might not be ready to pick yet. Yes, tuber sale's been going well, so thank you to people who have ordered. I can only post to, well, no quarantine states, so I can't post to WA, Northern Territory or Tasmania, which is sad. But Yes, I said, there's still lots available. So I've never done a pre-sale before, and I've finally got my website sorted, so you can order very easily through that. They'll be posted out in October when I start waking up, and that's just simply because I don't want to send you any now that end up not being viable. So it's just to make sure that you get tubers that are going to grow for you. If you've ever wondered how people handle that pre-sale, it's basically, if I have, say, 80 of one variety, I have listed about 30, for example, and that just makes sure that when October comes around, there's definitely enough that are viable, and then whatever is left, I'm going to pull out my stocks to go back in the ground here, and what's left of that will be a second sale. So, you know, if you miss out now, there'll still be lots available later on in October, so that's good. Anyway, there's not a lot happening out in the garden, tiny little bits, and a lot of weeds, because I've been dividing the tubers and I haven't been able to get to this. Which is sort of shows you that there's been a tiny bit of growth, but not much. But anyway, we're getting there. Best hellebore plant. This is near, in fact, it hasn't done as well. Didn't get as much foliage as last year. It's been in for probably 6 or 7 years now, and each year it's just got better and better. The hellebores, they're best to pick when they're a little older, the flowers, otherwise they droop really easily, but these ones need to be seared. But these are lovely. They might be okay. I might get some of those and then definitely sear them. This is supposed to be a bed. There's Canterbury bells in amongst those weeds, and I've got daffodils coming up. So yay, this needs to be weeded too. It's been way too hard. I've just been concentrating on those tubers, but they're coming. Very short snowdrops and some more weeds. The sweet pea vine has been going really well. And I've been using this, actually, the foliage in bouquets. One of them bloomed early, so there's the odd flower here, but makes a really nice foliage in a bouquet. So, and it's getting quite tall. Some of the penstemons still hanging on, and there's a little bit in another bed. I've pulled things out. There was some peonies in here from last year, but now they've gone down the paddock. Everything's just, see how it's messy? This is kind of like a July flower farm tour, I suppose, as well, but things are just halted. Things have gone in autumn, and they're just sitting here waiting for the warmer weather. In the meantime, they're developing roots, but I need to get in here and mow. Once it's a wet day today, so I can't mow, but once I mow, this will look a lot better. It just looks like a pile of weeds at the moment. I can't be too stressed about it. But down here we've got some stock, and once again I'm getting a lot of this action. That purple one there's a little bit more frilly. I don't think I'm going to bother with stock again in the future. It's a one and done, and I'm just not, I never really get many really frilly ones. Okay, so searing the ends of hellebores, which are really, really pretty. Got those ones. I've got some boiling water, and just dip those in that for sort of about 10 seconds. And that's all there is to it. You can use flame, so you get your cigarette lighter or whatever, and do that. I prefer not to set things on fire, so I just use the hot water. So that's pretty easy, and then just dunk it back in the cold water. Done. Right, so I picked some foliage. Spring flowers tend to look really good with the bright green, more so than the sage green of eucalyptus. This is just nice and cheerful. It just seems to go, I don't know, it just seems to go with everything better. And then spring, there's lots of fresh foliage, and it's, I don't know, it's cheerful. So this is just scented pelargonium. Does smell, not too sure what of, but it does. It's nice. So it just gets rid of some of those lower leaves. And I've got 3 pieces of that. I generally go with 3 bits of everything, and I got 3 of the sweet pea vine. So all my flowers, I stripped the lower leaves yesterday when they arrived, when I unpacked them. So they're all good to go. And I've got some bits I picked yesterday. So some jonquils, they're opening up. And there's a little bit of white wax flower left from last week's order, which is fine still. And I do have some little winged everlasting I picked yesterday for a bouquet I made. I made some bouquets for the bakery. Was it yesterday? No, I can't remember. And I had another a medium-sized bouquet order this week too. So some of that stuff went in there, and there was also some Sweet William I had, which was left over from that. A little bit more stock, so I can use up all those little bits and pieces as well. So basically, bouquet, I like to start with a nice fairly bushy bit of foliage. It's quite sturdy. It really gives you something to kind of rest everything on to start with. And along with that, I'll go some chrysanthemum as a bit of a fill. Now I'm just trying to think what colours to go for as a sympathy bouquet today. I think I'll use the red roses. Not the red roses. I don't even have any red roses. I'll use the yellow roses. And the pink ones I'll save for the luxury bouquet that I'm doing tomorrow, which is a birthday one. And it's for a lady. So I just think the yellow will be better as a sympathy. So we might go some of this. It's so bright. Some of this chrysanthemum, which when you order this, it's under Crisco is the name that they've got for it. And I don't know whether that's the brand or I don't know. Got all these funny names for things. It's taken me a while to sort of get used to it, to be honest. I've got a little bit of status from my garden. It's not open very well. There's a few pieces out there, a few purple pieces too, and it just hasn't really opened. It's been there for a little while. And if I can get this out. I've actually ordered wax flower ever since I did that winter woodland related wedding, which I had the wax flower for. I've been ordering that ever since because it lasts really well, and it's got an unusual smell. It does have a nice scent. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, that's really good. So we always just kind of make this up as we go along. I'll put some jonquils in. They are really, really scented. They're really nice. One thing's with the daffodils and the jonquils, you probably already know, but when you cut them, they leak that the sap, that sort of toxic sap. It's good to cut them and then stand them in water for about 3 hours, and so that sort of seals the ends over. If you recut them, it does make the sap run again, which is what's going to probably happen here. It can be bad for your other flowers, but it should be all good. Let's just build as we go. Put a bit more of that in there since that's there. What have we got around that side? Now I need to add, the lisianthus are just gorgeous. That's a carnation. Look how fluffy they are. Really beautiful. I've grown carnations before, and they've just been tiny. Really, really underwhelming. So we need to grab a rose, I think. And they're nice and cheerful. Let's try and go a bit of a gap between that and the chrysanthemums. Let's pop some sweet pea in there. Sometimes we have to remove some of these lower leaves, but they're kind of nice when they, we might get rid of you, you're in the way a bit. And then we might get some of this white. Oh, it keeps grabbing on everything. White wax flower. Might as well use it up. It's also got a nice red, before the flowers open up, it has these little red buds, which are really pretty too. What else? We might whack some of these hellebores in there. And they've still got, enough leaf on them. And there's a bud there too. Hopefully they don't go saggy on me. there was one of this colour stock, but that actually will go. I didn't think it would, but because of the deeper coloured wax flower, it will. So that's worked out really well. We might use some of these lisianthus. Now there's some soft pink ones. Look how pretty they are. I don't know what I paid for these, but they're really pretty. And then there's some, there's quite a few. This one's got 3 on the stem, and it's got a whiter one, like it's cream, and then the pink ones. I'd rather, if I could, just put some slightly cream ones in there. They seem to have a few on each one. What have you got? Oh, you've got a lot of on each stem. Oh, aren't they interesting? I've literally never ordered these, so, and I certainly, that one's got 2 white and pink. I certainly don't grow them. I hear that they take 8 months to sort of get them from seed to planting out or something. It sounds like a nightmare. But I might maybe buy them in as plugs, maybe I might give that a go. Put another bit of foliage in over here. Sort of. We might go a piece of this mauve status. They do such a good job here, getting colours that all blend really well together. When I pulled the mauve out, I was like, oh, that's different, in with this sort of yellow, pale, pinky, blushy tones that they've gone with the pops of cream. And then there was this, and I thought, wow, that's actually going to blend in really nicely. And just sort of lift everything else. That still looks very cottagey, gardeny, despite it all being bought stuff. Not loving buying stuff in, really, I'm not. I can't wait for my own flowers to start, but it is what it is. So, and I might whack in a piece of this blush. This is really pretty, this blush chrysanthemum, like that. And we are doing a large. Okay, we're going to go another piece of, pull that bit off, a larger bouquet. I like the bits that stick out up the top. Always make sure that they're kind of balanced around the whole thing. Still got this white wax flower down there. Let's throw that in too. Oh, I got a piece of this. The winged everlasting, so funny. The stem feels like it's got wire in it. It's so odd. It's really, really funny. It's going to sort of stick out there, but that's okay. There is a piece of purple, purple stock, but that's all right because that'll pick out that status a bit better. It's very pale. I'll put it over this side. It needs more roses. Definitely needs more roses. I've only got 1 in there. As a feature, that's the sort of the focal flower. There is that lisiantha in there as well. Where did that go? Oh, it's over the side. My sort of standard kind of thing with sizes of bouquets with, if the focal flower is the roses, for example, the ones that go to the bakery, they just get 1. A medium bouquet will get 3, large will get 5, and a luxury one will get 7. That's generally what we're aiming for. When I order stuff in, it's also depending on how much stuff I've got. I've got to remember to save some stuff for this luxury bouquet tomorrow. There's some more of this, so I can use this one. There is more of that out in the garden. That's looking really pretty, isn't it? I can use another piece of this wax flower because that's a darker pop. And see, this is a piece, but it's got another bit. I can break that bit off there at the bottom and use this over here. Use that extra dark piece. It's coming together really nicely, actually. I'm happy. As long as they're happy, I suppose. It's amazing. Put a rose in over this side. They may actually not get 5 roses because, put another one in there, there's a lisiantha in there. I've got to think about the cost of the bouquet too. It's a bit of a different, it is a bit of a different scenario for me when you grow your own, and then when you buy stuff in, it's It does get a little outrageous, but you've got to remember that the wholesalers need to make their money, and so does the flower farmers. So being a flower farmer myself, you obviously want them to be getting a fair go at it as well. There's another piece of Sweet William out of the garden, which has been good for most of the winter actually. Another piece of foliage there. Let's tuck this one in here as well, sort of collars it. That's actually getting pretty large. That's really nice. There's another one of these little fellows. Let's pop him in at the side here. We might stick another carnation in, I think. There we go, there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it needs to be a little bigger actually. We might go for another bit of, yeah, another bit of status. That's a nice big piece. That'll actually bring that mauve in. There we go. Again, over that side. There we go. Yep, happy with him. So I'll just tie him up. I always use a jute string. I find that when you tie the knot, the string actually sort of grabs on itself and it doesn't undo. I know I always use my teeth. I do cut off the bits that I've had in my mouth. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? But when I tie this knot, like that usually grips pretty well on itself. I've got my finger on it, but what was I tying up? I was tying up something. Oh, doing the wedding stuff. I had the corsages and that, and I was tying up the string, and it really grips. So apart from the fact that that also will compost down, which is good. So if you have a bouquet you end up bringing home from wherever, you can just hurl the whole thing out on the compost. So I'll just cut these and then I'll wrap them. Okay, that's done. Wrapped. I'm really happy with how that's come up. It's nice and bright and cheerful. It's obviously for a sad occasion, but I think that, you know, flowers should, you know, cheer them up a little bit. Let the dog out. The other dog out. They're going to go out and get dirty. One of them won't get dirty. Jack likes to tiptoe and avoid the mud, whereas Russell just likes to plow through it, and he has about 5 baths a day. So anyway, there we go, all wrapped up. We'll catch up with you next time. If you are after day tubers, they're still available. And if you miss out on a particular variety this time around, there's still another sale in October. Okay, so there'll still be plenty of particular varieties that you're after then. So anyway, I'll catch up with you next time. See ya.